So let's talk about Resident Evil 7. Why? Well, because all the cool kids are, and we want to be cool too. So let's say Resident Evil 7 starts out in this lovely farmhouse, an idyllic setting, the place you want to spend your vacation, where everything's covered in slime and mold and grass and cobwebs and just all kinds of grimy, nasty garbage. The game is different from other Resident Evils, is that it does take the first-person view, which is a little hard to get used to sometimes for a Resident Evil game, but let's face it, everyone here has played shooters, you're familiar with the idea. It's a little wonky here at times, though, because it's hard to get a bead on what you're able to interact with. Little icons will pop up sometimes, but if you move too close or a little too far away, they won't always activate. But the house that you're in is very reminiscent of the one from the original game, if you remember that one back in the day. And it's got this nice, creepy, gross atmosphere, and the sound is actually a big part of this. When you're playing the game, you're hearing things creak, hearing things move, things shuffling in the sides and the distance, and all in all, it makes for a very terrifying experience. Now, the game is full of puzzles, and that's what you've come to expect in most Resident Evil games. Sometimes you have to unlock a door, so you have to find some key, but most of the times people don't live in normal houses with keys. They have like these giant gold medallions on the door that are missing a piece, and you have to find the piece and put the piece in the thing, in the door, and the door rotates and moves and opens, and it's very weird and convoluted, but if you're playing the game, you're just familiar with that aspect of it, and you should be looking forward to it. Now, one thing about this game is that the graphics are really, really great, and very violent and bloody. So keep that in mind when you're playing this game. If you get easily grossed out, not just by the snot that's covering everything, but also by watching heads get chopped off and fingers ripped off, arms cut off, things like that, then you really don't want to be playing this game. Now, obviously, there are some spoilers in this video, but everything that I'm showing in this video happens pretty early on in the game. There's nothing beyond like the first maybe hour of the game, and think about the fact that this game is probably going to take you 10 to 12 hours to get through. So the fact that we're showing you some stuff here from the first hour is not that big of a deal. In fact, a lot of videos have been showing this stuff early on. But as far as your average solving the puzzles or fighting off something here or there, it's no big deal. The real problem comes in the boss battles, and the boss battles are the same cheap thing that you remember from every Resident Evil game. There's going to be some sort of monster or bad guy or whatever coming at you, and you are going to shoot it, and it's going to recoil, and you'll shoot it, and it'll recoil, and you shoot it, and it'll recoil, and you really don't know if you're doing any good or not until it finally falls on the ground. And that's, of course, one of the biggest problems in the Resident Evil series. It's always been that way. It's hard to tell if you're actually doing damage to one of these things until they're dead. But, having said all that, the game does rely on some jump scares here and there. Even though the mood does a good job of making it creepy and scary, they still have that need every once in a while to have something just jump out and grab you. And at first, it's a little jarring. You get kind of used to it after a while. But the biggest problem, I think, more than the boss battles and having to fight with your inventory and everything else, is the Uncanny Valley. I mean, the Uncanny Valley smacks this game in the face with a 2x4 and doesn't let up. Everything looks so good, it looks so real as you're moving through until the character jumps out in front of you and starts talking. So, bloody, gory, fun, good time, all in all, it's definitely a must-play recommendation if you like the horror genre.